Emma Lewisham is just such accumulation of who I am. I think that we will be a brand that's here in 100 years' time. You miss out on some really important moments in people's lives. I missed out on so many moments with my daughter. But then I, again, come back to what does success look like for you?
That's Emma Lewisham from the skincare brand Emma Lewisham, and this episode is epic. Since recording with Emma about a month ago, personally, I can say that I've changed as a woman in business from this conversation alone, and it's quite remarkable how honest and genuine she is. Emma Lewisham is one of the fastest growing brands in Mecca, and hailing from New Zealand, she's spent the past 8 years building and growing her revolutionary skincare brand from scratch. And when I say from scratch, we mean scratch. We hear in long form about her co-founders and each of their strengths, the key drivers of growth, being relentless in her pursuit of greatness to create the best products and formulations possible, and the sacrifices that she's taken as a woman to get this thing off the ground. What I loved as well is when she was speaking with her industry peers, pushing again and again to get through to her 57th iteration, which is the one that they landed on. She so candidly talks about how awkward that got sometimes when saying, no, go again. And I just don't think that we hear too many people be that honest about being relentless. Before we dive in, I'd like to thank the traditional owners of the land this podcast was recorded on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to Process the Podcast. I'm your host, Arielle Thomas, motion director, social strategist, and founder of production company Cinematom, and now founder of Remy, sharing with you all a new era of energy with our new rhythm gummies, helping you get over the 3 p.m. slump and give you a near instant boost of energy that you need. I've bootstrapped this business and I gave Emma a gummy mid-episode because you don't have Emma Lewisham on your podcast and not tell her what you're up to in the space. You hear us yap about Remy, and I'm going to leave it in because Remy is the official sponsor of this episode with Emma. So it basically is a mid-roll ad, and I'm going to leave it there because what better way than having Emma Lewisham say that she loves the product than to leave that in there. Anyway, I'm grinning listening back to this episode because when Emma and I sat down, I must say, Emma is beautiful. And I don't just mean in a conventional way, but her skin, the way that she looks at you, she is so stunning, and she just has such a warmth in her temperament and her offering and her conversational tone. I was a little bit shook. You guys will listen to it and be like, whoa, fangirl much. But I really was, because she's so beautiful, and she was a meter away from me, and it's Emma Lewisham. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, I am a full Emma Lewisham convert. Sign me up. I'm off to Mecca while you guys listen to this to restock my favourites. But for you, dear listener, we have a competition running this week. Ending Tuesday, the 29th of July, 2025, you could win over $500 worth of Emma Lewisham products. Head to Process the Podcast on Instagram for all the details of how to enter. I hope you love this episode. Let's dive in. Emma Lewisham of Emma Lewisham.
Yes.
Where were you before Emma Lewisham, the skincare brand?
I wasn't working in the beauty industry.
What were you doing?
I was working for a global Japanese technology company as one of the very few female senior executives in a strategy, marketing, sort of general business role.
Wow.
And so completely different industry, technology, really enjoyed it, fast-paced, learned a huge amount.
Yeah.
And it was such a pivot. But in a way not, because if I look back and it's all about, you can't connect the dots looking forward. It's about connecting them when you're there and looking back and go, wow, I feel like my whole life has been preparing for this moment, and this is what I was meant to do.
Wow. So what obviously you have won several awards and you're a real trailblazer in skincare for good reason. What about your previous role did lead you to break ground and be so innovative? What was it? Was there a hunger in you being this is ridiculous? How,
yes.
the classic story is my son had eczema and nothing would work, and then we solved the problem, and now I what was your version of that?
Yes, what was my version? Well, look, I think it started when I was a child. I grew up in New Zealand with a family of entrepreneurs, hugely hardworking, in a farming community, and that being a way of life, I learned a huge amount about the environment, how to treat nature its intelligence, how you have to give back to get so much more, how to work incredibly hard to be gritty. And as a young child, I was hard work for my parents. I was a contrarian. I challenged everything. I was kicked out of brownies or Girl Scouts, if you have that here in Australia, for really challenging thinking in the status quo. And so that's been me since I was born, as a challenger. And it's been a common thread throughout my life, and it got me to where I was in my career because I was never willing to give up. I'd always challenge the status quo, and the best thing to say to me that is something's not possible, because then I'm going to go and figure it out. And Emma Lewisham is just such an accumulation of who I am and what I stand for. And yes, seeing a problem in the industry in that. And I feel like when the whole industry or any industry tells you something's impossible, that's where opportunity lies, right? And
absolutely.
What I was told was that like natural ingredients or formulations were better for us. They aligned with my values. I'm very passionate about like health and what I put in my body. And I think that's the ultimate luxury, like knowing the ingredients and the quality that I'm putting on my skin, the largest organ. But at the same time, I wanted it to be contemporary and modern and luxurious and really perform with efficacy. And I loved science. I studied it through school and then actually started studying science at university. And I knew from what I had learned through that time, the intelligence of nature. What is more intelligent than something that's been around for millions of years? It's not that synthetics are more intelligent. They're just easier to use, easier to manipulate with, and cheaper.
Yeah.
And 8 years ago, when we started Emma Lewisham, the makings of it, what science was understanding that they could unlock from nature was just growing exponentially. And it was a factor of timing as well, but all of these pieces of who I was, it just came, and there was just this absolute synergy of, okay, this is me, this is what I'm going to do. I have this resolve, and I'm going to go out and like solve it and achieve that altitude.
Wow. What's like an example of what they literally told you was impossible?
Formulating natural skincare that feels luxurious but can outperform conventional products. So it's the combination of those three, all whilst doing it in a way that's responsible and thoughtful to the way you operate. Everything has been so built on like solving a problem and thinking differently. And I genuinely feel that is the very best place to start a business from.
Yeah.
We were never about like, I want a marketable brand, I want a beauty brand. I didn't want a beauty brand. I had a really successful career. I was on track to become the first female CEO of a country globally. And everyone told me I was crazy. I had this sure path of where I was heading, what I was doing, all ahead of me. And I decided to like essentially be like, oh no, I'm going to start a skincare brand. Can you imagine, like just imagine what people thought?
Yeah, wow.
It was it's almost like really everyone's launching a skincare brand. And so it wasn't about that for me. It was like, okay, there is a gap globally. Women want natural skincare.
Yeah.
They want it to be luxurious, but they want like real science and results to it. Well, just in general, real science and testing, not even the natural piece of it. Like our formulations are some of the best in the world, like genuinely. And that is backed by not me, but independent research and science. And, it's not normal to do the level of testing that we are doing.
Yeah.
And it's not normal to write white papers and the way that we do it. And what isn't normal is the way we formulate, which is for the biology, it's backwards to the industry. It's not led by ingredients, it's led by the skin, which seems so obvious. But if you look at what's on the market and what's coming out, it's about a new ingredient. Okay. The skin doesn't work in a singular way of putting one ingredient on it. It is so complex.
Yeah.
It's a Da Vinci Code underneath this.
Yeah.
And there are so many interconnected processes, cells, enzymes, things that are happening. And to get to one piece of it, you may have to unlock 3 others. Like, it's complex and wild. And
Yeah, wow.
from the get-go, that was also an insight that we could see, is like stepping back and going, I wanted a product for hyperpigmentation. My doctor had said that I couldn't use hydroquinone when I was pregnant. That's what put me down the path of going, okay, I'll find a natural alternative. And there wasn't one, but also everything on the market was about vitamin C and brightening. And I was like, wow, why are we not formulating for the skin and its physiology and speaking its language? And we, from the start and still to this day, have brought in scientists that weren't in the skincare industry, have worked outside of it.
Okay.
And pulled them in and anchored the way we formulate in genuine science and not around marketing or ingredients, but like the genuine, robust, like legitimacy of how your skin works, and like flipped it on its head. And it's led to formulations that don't have one ingredient, but up to 25 ingredients. And so when you're working with 25 ingredients at the right concentration levels for performance, combining and engineering that into a luxury, beautiful, stabilized texture, that's what's really hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Nothing is off the box or off the shelf with our formulations at all.
When you first launched, how many SKUs did you have, or how many were in the range?
2.
So when you were doing that and you were like, no, I want it to be like this, no, actually clean. Like, what was really happening but in the conversations between you and your, what do you call the people that formulate skincare?
Cosmetic scientists.
Is that who you were working
chemists?
with?
Yes.
And you didn't, that they were not necessarily from the...
We were working with physiologists, so they weren't in the skincare industry. And the way that why it took us 3 years to bring just 2 formulations to market is because the way that we are doing things is also the hardest and the longest road, because we spend just 6 months understanding and mapping out how your skin works and creating a language.
Yeah.
And before we even look at ingredients, because we're needing to figure out what we need to activate on your skin. And that's through looking at peered scientific journals and research and digging deep. So that blueprint takes minimum 6 months to crack. And that's done by a physiologist. So not a cosmetic chemist at that point.
Okay.
Whereas the standard approach is go to cosmetic chemist, here's an ingredient, put it in the formulation you've got off the shelf.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a very different way of like doing it. And that is who I am. I'm like here to solve the genuine problem. And I'm a customer too. I'm a woman too that wants like phenomenal products that are just really going to do something that has never been seen before, and that quality and longevity of your skin, not just like getting something on the surface, but that 360. Like, we're going deep, we're driving incredible change to the skin, all whilst keeping your skin in balance and in harmony. So just 2 products took an incredibly long time. And like the discussion then when you're coming to a cosmetic chemist who's used to, we've got a cream off the shelf and do you want to put a vitamin A in it, is a very different conversation to what I was coming to them with. And so initially it was like, we can't do this. And when this is not possible, it's too hard. We're not going to be able to stabilize all of those ingredients.
And they would be looking at margins and all sorts of stuff, right? To be like, that doesn't work. Like, that's not sustainable for us to do that.
Well, they weren't looking so much at margins. We were, because we're going to be paying for that. But I wanted the very best product in formulation, and we'll always figure that out, still in a way that's accessible, luxury and performance, which is important to me. But I know that the price of our products would, they're just, and how much they cost us to produce, with the sophistication, innovation, the quality of them is very, very high. I know that. They were just figuring out like how are we going to stabilize this? Like, we're not just putting one, like you're putting 25 and they're all really complicated. And so that's like a jigsaw piece of what we need to dial up, or how are we going to formulate this or stabilize it. And it was such an art and science to get it right. And it was failure after failure. Our first product took 57 iterations before we got there. And I only knew that we got there when we did independent and then vivo clinical trial on women, showing that the product was that it worked.
Yeah.
And we also did an in vitro trial where we sent our product and 9 other brightening products on the market in the luxury space to a biomedical lab and said, look, we want to see not just that we're repairing hyperpigmentation, but we're actually preventing it. Because there's one thing to repair something on the skin, but let's drive wider, more powerful change by actually preventing something in the first place.
Yeah.
And think 360. And our formulation was the only one that came back that actually prevented hyperpigmentation, on skin cells.
That's
so
amazing.
That's when I knew, oh my gosh, we have cracked, we've got this, we have done it. And I say that now in a really kind of light way, but I was groundbreaking. I knew from that moment we were onto something, and that we would be a brand that could go global.
What were the combos like when you were on iteration 42? Were your, what did you call them? Pharmaceutical?
Yes.
Were they Emma, for fuck's sake, we're not?
Yes.
How do you keep going back to be it's not good enough? It's not, and was it the same
yes, it was the same person.
We're not done?
Still friends. And he still works on our formulations, and he'd been working on, he's German, and we fortunately get to work with him. He had retired out in New Zealand, and we tapped him on the shoulder for this. He just,
was it from the get-go that you were I will not settle until this is perfect, and he knew that was coming? Or was it a bit sticky in the times when it was and go again, because that's relentless work.
That was sticky. And at the end, he ended up bringing someone else out of retirement because he couldn't get there. And I would not give up.
Wow.
So people remember him yelling at me, and they could hear it in the rest of the lab because of the frustration.
Oh my God.
I think you've got to have to be prepared to wear that. And the extra mile, or that challenging area in business, is an empty space, right?
Yeah.
But that's where the opportunity, that's where something revolutionary can exist if you're willing to push through it.
Wow.
It was really awkward.
I can imagine. But did you also have that being man versus woman? Was there ever any hindrance of that?
No, I didn't feel that.
Okay, that's good.
I was used to it and almost leaned into, no, I'm going to stand my ground here.
Yeah.
And I am a woman, but I have a place here, and I'm going to speak my mind and stand up for myself. And again, I think that's something my parents really fostered in me. And now I try and foster in other females.
Yeah, I think I would have been intimidated from many, many conversations coming from the film industry. So many times you kind of have to admit, and now it's a bit of a secret sauce, to admit to whichever cinematographer or whoever you're working with, hey, I don't know that terminology, but I've got to work with you to solve the problem. And this is what I want to achieve. How do we get there?
Yeah.
Rather than having that front of being I want it to look like this, blah, blah, blah. I know what it's going to take, and then pretending. It's been so tricky. And I've definitely had my fair share of Me Too movement pieces and a lot of mansplaining from the men cinematographers. The relentlessness, it's hard to hold on to. I'm glad that it's dissolving away from the industry now, but
you just, actions speak that. You just get on with it, and you prove people wrong, and you go do the work. Don't you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the obstacles then that you came up against in those early days, you found the formulation, you were ready to launch with 2 products. I think the formulation you've explained really well, of breaking new ground and being the first of its kind. What else were you setting out to be the first of its kind in terms of your standards?
Again, it was standing back and looking at things with a fresh pair of eyes and not looking at what had been conventionally done just because it always had been done like that. I really wanted to understand, was it actually the right way? And that's how we approach formulations, right? We didn't just do what everyone else did. it was the easier way, sure, but it wasn't the right way. And that came to sustainability and the way that we operated. And a big part of the way that we operate is, yes, the formulations and the ingredients and what goes into it in the supply chain, which we the through line is take responsibility. Like, you have to take ownership for those decisions. The big piece for me was the packaging. And again, talking about connecting the dots, I was working in this company, spent so much time in Japan, and I've always admired the way that they treat things. They're so prized. They care about their objects, the things that they create. And in the company that I was working with, that was the same. They were always thinking about, well, what will happen to this material and equipment once people have finished with it?
Yeah,
and
the whole life cycle.
The whole life cycle. And they just had this rhythm and way in Japan, and it's so graceful, and it aligns with nature, circularity. And because I understood this, and I also understood that we can't solve the climate crisis and the real challenges that we have by operating in the same way. And I knew that there's no way we can reduce climate goals in operating in a linear way. Like, we have to move to being a lot more conscious with what we're producing and the design of it and the reuse of it, a circular model. Yeah. So that's like the cornerstone of bringing down carbon emissions. The beauty industry, I looked at the packaging and I really went deep to understand what was happening to beauty packaging end of life. And 8 years ago, when we were looking into this, it wasn't talked about. And I do feel that we've brought a lot of information and brought the conversation. The reality is that the way that we design beauty packaging to look the way that it does and to appeal to people, it adds complexity and loss of value when it comes to recycling. So majority and best intentions of people recycling beauty packaging. The reality is, with the complexity of it, having to disassemble it, the reuse value is really low. So it gets majority of the time filtered out, which is to landfills or is like burnt. And the volume a year of what we create in the beauty industry is 120 billion units just a year. Yeah. And it's estimated 100 billion of that every year goes to landfills. But that's 100 billion units.
I don't even know what that looks like.
It's
like, you can't actually imagine
the size
that.
of like 840,000 elephants.
840,000 is still too far away to like literally imagine.
I know. You can't even like fathom it. And there's no such thing as a way on this planet, right?
Yeah.
We think it goes away, and then, because we don't see it, it's not there, and it's not having an impact, and it's not going to catch up on us. I think the industry became numb, and in fairness, it had been the way that everyone had operated for such a long time that it became the norm. And just because it was the norm didn't make it right. And it didn't make it the way that we were going to do things. And from the get-go, I knew we were going to take responsibility, and I really wanted to help solve this problem. And it's about, first and foremost, having excellent products, because if you have excellent products, people will return for it. Yeah. Then if you have refills and make them accessible and desirable, they'll buy them. With a refill becomes 70% less carbon emissions. Yeah. And significantly less material. We sort of equate it to about 3/4 of a new bottle being produced and taken from the earth when people buy a refillable pod. Yeah. We go further than that, and we have drop-off places like at Mecca throughout all of Australia, New Zealand, and globally, because we are we have a significant global presence now too, where people can return their packaging. We take it back and first and foremost sterilize it, clean it, put it back into circulation. So people actually will see now when they buy a refillable pod from Emma Lewisham, like a note on it saying this is a second life, third life pod. Wow. Which that just was not something that was being done in the industry. And it was like a reimagining of how it could operate, and that blueprint didn't exist. And we made it incredibly hard for us ourselves. But I think that I wouldn't want to do it any other way. Yeah.
Wow. Did you come up against obviously you had a team in place and your husband works in the business too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Was there ever moments of friction there of like, this has to be the way that we do it, like with your really close-knit people of this is the way that we do it now, we're going to break this mold and it's going to be difficult? Because the things that you're talking about doing is changing the game, and I'd imagine it would be very, very expensive. And when you're working on a business, obviously a business exists to make money, so it's not commercially viable to do a lot of the things that you do. Did that ever come up against it in core?
Yes. Well, I would actually debate that, because I actually think it is commercially viable to act in a responsible way, and that purpose and profit more than ever go hand in hand. And I think we've actually proven that, because that's a big thing for me too, to actually show that you can be a luxury and sustainable brand, and you can also be a brand that has purpose and be profitable and commercially viable. I think that's a misconception. It's actually fueled our growth as a company by doing the things that we have done. There is that level of expectation from consumers now, and it's only going to become more and more. So yes, I work with my husband, and I also have another fantastic co-founder, Kimberly, and we had worked together for nearly 10 years in our previous roles. And I pitched the idea to her one lunchtime about, so what I want to do, and we'd worked together, and so we knew how well we did work together. I think that's the other challenging thing. We're so lucky that we're this so far in, and all co-founders, they get on so well and have amazing. This respect for each other and complementary skills, and are just so aligned and on the same page of how we are going to do anything. We've never conflicted on the vision and the values of the business.
You grew up in a household that your parents ran a business together, right? Were they in entrepreneurial spirit together?
Yes, they were. And then also my grandparents. My grandmother was like a formidable and one of the very first like female CEOs in New Zealand growing up, and all self-made, and what she achieved and my grandpa working together, and same with my mum and my dad, was really role modeled to me. And just like nothing was beneath them. They're just very down to earth. They roll up their sleeve. They get on with things, and you need to, especially like we bootstrapped Emma Lewisham to millions of dollars of revenue before taking any external resource, all whilst having a newborn baby. Like we obviously had no staff because we had no money, and I learned that grit from my parents and seeing what they did when I was young. We had 4 of us in my family, and my parents were young, and they were really scrappy and worked hard and took on extra jobs. My dad would do extra share milking at 5 a.m. before even going to work, and my mom work after hours and cleaning banks to get extra money to support us and to be able to see us all go to university and see us go on to achieve things. So that was instilled in me. Nothing's below me. I'll do anything. And I also know that if I want to achieve something in life, I always knew I was going to have to go out there and do it myself.
Can we talk about manufacturing in New Zealand?
Of course. Yes.
Is that because you wanted to support that economy, or was that because you wanted it local? What was the thinking there?
There were a few aspects to it. I wanted to be close to it. I really want, and still to this day, I see every formulation that goes out before it goes to our customers. I'm obsessed about our formulations and the quality.
What does that mean? You see it? Does that mean you go to
touch it? I get a sample.
Okay. So in the batches. Okay, right.
Yeah, before it goes and gets bottled.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there's definitely been times when I've been no, this is...
Really? So what's wrong with it?
Just
what can go wrong in those scenarios?
Well, when you're working with natural fragrances and ingredients, not always are the colors, the scents, where your benchmark is.
Oh.
So there is some variability, and you have to be willing to go, okay, no, there's a cost there involved, but it's not right.
Wow.
So it gives me the ability to be really tightly across the formula and really quickly, because the laboratory is 15 minutes away from our office. I think the other thing is, in all honesty, is that no one else would do what we wanted them to do and formulate and eat. Like we do manufacture in Australia with a phenomenal TGA certified lab for our sunscreens, which are genuinely revolutionary. And they've been brilliant, but it took some time to also get them to see the way that we do things is different.
Yeah.
And when you are first starting out and you are a nobody and nobody knows you, to go to a manufacturer that are doing significant brands and tell them that you want them to do something that's going to take them like 10 times the length of time that another brand can, there's not many that are up for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was fortunate that they were. And I think the spirit of New Zealand is one of innovators and thinking outside the square and willing to try things. And so that certainly like helped with that conditioning and getting things across the line there.
Yeah.
There's also the piece of like being able to see the people, that they're treated well, that we use regenerative electricity for our products.
Yeah.
And all of that aspect that energy that you also want to bottle and capture of the spirit of Emma Lewisham. You know, it's hand-filled, it's considered, it's done in a really clean and like modern and respectful like lab, the way that we use water, and I'm able to influence the way that what happens with packaging end of life, and like just instill the values that we have and make sure that that's represented in the bottle. Because there is so much that consumers, I guess, don't see in that detail behind the scenes.
Totally.
But I feel that ultimately there's an energy that's carried.
Yeah, definitely.
With brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of know the founders that have no idea what's really happening in there. Like there's sort of like a way of answering things, I guess, or a way of the way that they show up.
You notice that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have I'll tell you about it at the end, but I started an energy gummy brand, which is like a microdosed creatine, and it's called Remy Rhythm because it gets you out of the 3 p.m. slump. Basically, like a commercial value creatine is like 5 grams, and this is 0.4. And it's designed specifically pretty much for women who just get that 3 p.m. brain fog, and it lifts the brain fog so that you can get more out of your day. Wow. And I started it in March. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I brought you some to try. They're really good. I'm really proud of them. But I know that journey, I went to China and visited my manufacturer and everything because it's too hard necessarily. Like I needed 500 bottles. And the medicinal cannabis industry in Australia is so strong on gummies. There's no way anybody would take my phone call unless I was doing 50,000 units. So that's really hard.
That is really hard.
When I was studying the marketing piece, because it's obviously like in the startup space and it's gummy, so I'm sort of up against these like gym bro supplement people. It's so clear as day when they have absolutely no fucking clue what's going on in their factories, or are like, you know, like when they're asked a question or they just don't speak about it because they don't know. And there's a lot of stuff that they like should be talking about for branding and all that, and they're choosing not to because they don't have answers on it and they don't have any visibility because they've chosen to turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
And it was really important to me to go to the factory in China and like have Peking duck with the factory owners and be like, hey, what's up? Like, how are you? What are your kids' names? And so I noticed that, obviously. And it's...
So with you have that lens now. And it's like us. We audit all of the teams and labs that we... in a way that is constructive, and we now have our suppliers that turn around and say, wow, I've actually learned a lot from this and this has been great and it's improved the way we're doing things. So you always want to do it in a way that's not like finger pointing, because sustainability is a journey, and by producing anything you're not sustainable, let's be honest. But there's a way, we have to manufacture things, we need things, and there's just a way to do it with like integrity and like building in a genuineness that you're doing things in a way that has thought and care.
Yeah, absolutely.
And integrity is the things you do when no one's looking, right? And ultimately, at the end of the day, like everyone looks themselves in the mirror and they know.
Yeah.
And I always have, like, I've heard a quote in the past about like that. Isn't that genuine happiness? It's
Yeah.
not what others think about you or your perception. Isn't it what you think of you? And that you can look at yourself at the end of the day and go, I'm really comfortable and happy with those decisions and proud. And I think that's where I've got to with Emma Lewisham. You start and you think it's all about growth and success. And now I'm like actually just comfortable that at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm putting out the best work of my life. And I know these are the best formulations in the world and have been done so with honestly the highest of standards. And that to me is just something. That's everything.
Yeah. Not that many people are that self-aware though. Some people are just like, yeah, speed, market, money. It's amazing that that it's in you to do that.
I think it's also like a lot of like work on myself and like years of like being conscious and making sure that I'm clear on what success looks like to me. I'm looking forward to these gummies.
Yes, they're really good. Do you want one? I can give you one now if you want.
I know, I'm like, we're close to 3 p.m.
I like the little like gifted ones.
Oh.
They come in a much bigger bottle of 60, but these are just the little cuties that I'm just.
And why Remy?
I was going to be named Remy, and my mum put like this brand is like 100% bootstrapped. The whole thing's cost me like $5,000, which is nothing. And my mum,
can I have one?
Yeah, you can have one for focus and energy, and then 2 for a workout. So if you want to go to like Pilates at 5:30 or something, and you're just like in the mood to cancel it, you know how like that kind of thing. You're just like I was booking.
You take the gummy,
and then you're ready.
You're like, I'm going.
Yeah, and you literally go.
It's really good.
Crazy. It's delicious, right? Taking lollies from strangers.
I know. And no sugar.
Yeah, no sugar. They're really good.
These are really good.
Yeah, they're delish.
Thank you so much.
We'll check in 5 minutes and see how alert you are.
I'm going to be like on the ball the rest of this podcast.
Yeah,
Arielle's about to get really good.
Yeah, they've changed my life, which is amazing.
I'm so thrilled for you.
Even like physically, I've lost weight because I'm actually going to Pilates now, and because I'm not a morning person, there's no way I'd go to a 6 a.m. class. I'm like a 5:30 or nothing girl, and I would book the class at 10 a.m. and then my 3:30 p.m. would be like, absolutely not, we're not going. And I'd cancel it. Like it was like an angel and a devil. And I was like, get away.
Your mind.
And then like you begin to like resent yourself. And so it's improved my relationship with myself. Even if I don't sell as many bottles as I have in stock right now, I don't care because this has been the $5,000 investment in me. Is so good.
It's like a vehicle for consciousness and like improving ourselves. Business can become, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So many people are like, how do you do so much? I'm like, literally, I invented an energy gummy. That's how I do so much. It's crazy. So I named it Remy because my mum gave me money to put into it, like $2,500, literally nothing. But she was like, I believe in you. And I was like, you're so cute. So she was going to call me that. And she also loved the name Remy because in French it means oarsman, like an oar to paddle you. And it's literally a paddle. Like it's a helper to get you where you want to go.
I love that.
And I was like, it just works.
And it's personal. It's personal to you.
And now a lot of my own community and the podcast listeners and stuff have ordered Remy, and they're like, oh, I'll just have a Remy. Like it has a name to it now.
Like
so it's
Google it.
It's
Remy.
Like,
Remy.
Yeah.
That's so great. Well, they're going to be in my handbag. And
I'll send you some like proper too.
No,
they're really
I will
good.
Buy some.
The scene, like the IP and innovation piece is interesting as well. Even like, I think in marketing now as well, how have you gone being so innovative, private because you don't want anyone to steal it, but then also like honest because that's your way. And then there's that marketing piece of how do you, people like, for example, Remy will be, well, what's in it? I'm like, don't steal my formulation Swiss, but here's what's in it, everyone. Like, what's that?
Yes. Well, in like the beauty industry, you do have to disclose your ingredients.
Yeah.
Right? Which is also like, I think fantastic because I can look at any formulation and you can kind of go, okay, is this a thoughtful, intelligent, well-crafted formulation or is it one that is using just one ingredient? Which is typically the case, our formulations, yes, we disclose what ingredients are in there. Some maybe under like some like a patented or trademarked name, if they're like still though we want to disclose what's in it so the customers can understand. But the challenge is that even if a competitor knew all of our ingredients, like creating the formulation with the right percentages, they don't know what percentages we are using, and that's like some might be at higher levels than the others, so that it all stabilizes and it works together, but it still aligns with the scientific journal testing results or the tests that they were done on. So it is actually quite challenging. We've actually heard that people have tried to dupe or create replicas, and manufacturers like, oh my gosh, no, that's the one brand you don't want to, because of the complexity. We've got so many ingredients at it's just hard and expensive.
Can a competitor take your formula to a lab and be like, work out what's in this at what extent? Like to basically get your recipe, if you will? Like
Absolutely. They could take the ingredient list and say, could you try recreate this?
Can they do it from like because we did it when we were doing Remy. We took the gummies to an Australian lab to be like, is this true to what our factory is saying is actually in it? Is it actually sugar-free?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it is. No, sorry, they broke the whole thing down and did everything. But then they basically had to get us to sign off on the fact that we weren't doing this from a point of view of this isn't our product.
Okay.
Like, can people in the industry take your formulations and reverse engineer to find out the recipe in a lab sense? Ever?
I think that's challenging.
Okay, too hard basket.
Because
you can do it in this sense.
And the percentages of ingredients?
They can backwards figure out what's in it at that. And so I was really curious of like, have you got some hungry little
How many
sleuths?
ingredients are in there? Maybe they work out that.
Yeah, and then figure that out.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So it's too hard to do it to your formulations like that.
Yes.
Have you ever had those feelings of, I don't want to share, but I need to share because we're transparent?
No.
Okay.
No, I think, again, it's like there's so much more like to it. One, it's really complicated, as I've said, to reformulate our formulations, but that's just one piece of it.
Yeah.
In terms of setting up a company and an ethos and an energy and what you stand for and the other things that you're doing, whether it be like in your sustainability and your kind of like
this is one puzzle piece.
Yeah. So, and I think we're consistently also with our formulations, another edge that we have is that we upgrade them. So when new technology or science comes out, we're one step ahead. So even if someone did, we're like, well, we've moved on. New research has come out, and we've now evolved that formulation to something better.
Wow.
So we keep on top of the science, and we've done that with 4 products, which is not the norm, but gone, wow, this is a new, and this is going to trump that action, or it will complement it. And we didn't previously have that action triggered in the skin. Let's include it. Let's reformulate. And again, that's really painful.
Yeah. Must keep you very busy.
It does. But that's what I love. I love that, wow, we can, like, I'm like obsessed with the customer. So I'm going, oh my gosh, we can get the customer even better product.
Yeah, wow.
Let's do it. Like, that's what I'm anchored in. And then the commercials come because they're getting a phenomenal product, and now return rates are phenomenal, like benchmark. And I know that through Shopify that sees all the beauty brands that they're like, wow, I think we'll launch a new product in the first 2 days. 70% of our existing customers will buy it.
Wow.
Or Mecca, we're the top performing like refillable skincare brand. Our return customer rate's so high. So I'm really heartened by that and fueled by that. And obsessed
it's
with
for
that.
them.
And so I'm always thinking for them, like I have a woman in my head, and I'm like knowing what challenges that they have with their skin, and they just want to feel the very best version in it. And so if I can find a way to help accelerate the melasma that they've got through pregnancy and like reverse that, I'm like, I'm going to do that for you. I want to figure that out. Like, I'm so motivated by that.
Do you speak to the customer? Do you have like focus group vibes?
I will just go to stores.
Really?
And talk to them.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Do you just walk into like a local Mecca and you're like, hi.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
So I do that too, and people are like, whoa, you're crazy. I'm like, no.
No.
How do you feel right now, by the way?
Oh,
a bit more awake?
I do actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're speaking with a bit more.
You should have given this to me at the start.
No, it's fine. Okay.
Wow. This is really working. Now that you said it.
Isn't it crazy? You're like, I'm awake. Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
I don't know what would happen if I took two.
You'd be more like, I'm ready to move. Like you'd get more movement in your body.
They are so effective.
I know, it's crazy.
Really quickly.
It's like 5 minutes.
Did you have one?
No, I had one before.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I arrived and I was like, what's up? Yeah. So marketing-wise, I knew of you because the purple is so iconic and nobody had really done purple before in the brands, in like the brand space. And is that, I think I read something somewhere that you were like looking at beauty shelves and you wanted a more iconic color.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
So when did you decide to do like Lara Worthington?
Lara. So the packaging, absolutely right. The brand story behind that was we wanted also like connection with the way we formulate and what was in the bottles, and this being something reversed to the industry for the skin and developed from speaking the skin's language. And so we went, what color is the skin? And we're doing a lot of clinical biomedical tests in labs and looking at skin. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, under the microscope, the skin's purple and pink. Purple and pink.
Okay.
And then it was also, then I was like, oh, what color does not exist in the shelves of Mecca? Because I was like, we're going to be in Mecca.
Yeah.
That is where we're going to be. They are the best in the world. If they take your brand, they're so discerning. They only take the best of the best.
Yeah.
You know the best brands because they are in Mecca and the team are just all over it and they are just the best in the world at what they do. And so I knew we wanted to be there. So I did look in Mecca and go, what color did they not have on their shelves? And it was also purple. So it was fortuitous. And I was like, that's the color. And it's been so advantageous for us because everyone recognizes it and I can go into any store and it's so distinct and it pops.
Yeah. Which
I'm so thrilled that we anchored in purple.
Yeah.
Lara Worthington was, and I think, in all these like partnerships and brand associations, again, you want to make sure that it's like that for me, that it's genuine, that I genuinely really like the products and that there's a value alignment and that you get on. And through a contact of mine, Lara started using the products and like really loved them. And like one of her favorite products is our Supernatural Live Probiotic Serum, which is like for blemishes, but it's just like elevates the health of your skin. It's phenomenal. And Australia is and was at that stage like a really important market to us. And with like, wow, why it just organically kind of started to happen, and speaking to Lara about working with us in Australia, and it was easy, organic, and we both had mutual like respect and fondness for one another, and it went from there. So, and then we've both been really helpful and empowering of what we're doing. And she's, of course, got her makeup brand. And I was able to share some insights with her from my journey early on. And so, I'm so proud of the partnership and the work we did together and how much she supported us in Australia and our growth internationally. She really was fantastic and went the extra mile and genuinely cared. And I think that came through and still comes through.
Because how long into the journey did you choose to put her as like the face of it for a moment? Like, was that?
I think we were 2 or 3 years in.
Yeah. And then
we'd worked with her for a bit, and then we're like, let's really champion Lara and what we're doing. And so, yeah, we'd already sort of established a relationship and worked so well together and felt that it was the right evolution for the partnership.
Yeah. The photos were so beautiful. I remember them so specifically because everybody's sort of in awe of her skin and the way she's sort of rebranded herself. She's very chic. Her evolution into womanhood and motherhood is something that my generation, I'm 33, like really look at and are like, you're amazing. Like you are an unbelievable woman. So to be able to pin her as like the face of Emma Lewisham, that's the first time my ears like pricked up. Wow. And it like burned into my brand awareness of like beauty in Australia for sure.
That's phenomenal. And she always, like with the work we did, photography, like she has such a great creative eye as well, and took such an interest in that and helped shape the campaigns as well. And she's really talented in that area.
How did Mecca actually come about?
Other than being on the vision board?
Yeah. Were they searching for
how
sustainable?
Did it come about? We built buzz in Australia. The brand definitely was becoming one in conversation. Like we had Lara, we're getting great press features. People were like talking about how phenomenal the products were, and they were interested, and conversations began. And look, for someone that had bootstrapped a business through COVID with a newborn, like that was such an incredible and special milestone. Like I can't understate that. To get that level of recognition that they loved our products, they were phenomenal and genuinely filled a gap in the industry and in their stores. You know, they didn't have natural, highly efficacious brands. And Emma Lewisham sits with the efficacious brands in Mecca, you know, which is just such a testament, I think, to what we've developed.
Yeah, absolutely. How long did the negotiations take? I think there's so many girls that listen to Process that have always just dreamed of having a brand.
Yes.
Like just that, regardless of anything that, any walk of life that they come from, there's something that draws people to, I don't know whether it's the science, the part about running a team, the part about doing all the creative direction. There's something that every woman just has a dream of having some sort of something or other. Yeah. And that pinnacle, as you said, is Mecca. Yeah. So I feel like we need some tea from you on like how long that takes or like, you know?
Absolutely. I think from the first time we started talking to them till we launched was a year.
Okay.
So it's a process, and they like do their due diligence. They're like really as you can imagine, as you said,
rigorous.
But they have so many brands and products that are sent to them a week. I think like over a year, it's like thousands and thousands. It's like inundated with brands.
And everybody like finding a way in to be like, who knows who they're.
Yes, exactly. Like not just in Australia, but globally, they're recognized. Yeah. And they only take a genuine select number of brands every year. So yeah, gosh, it was like so exciting to be having those conversations and to be in their like office, sitting down and meeting Jo, who's like remarkable.
Yeah, like she's on the podcast vision board for sure.
Oh my gosh, you'll definitely get her. You'll definitely
one
get
day.
Her.
And the first Mecca store ever, my dad built that building.
Really?
Yeah. So I feel like
way in.
Yeah, I feel like and she lives now and has, I think, always been around South Yarra. My parents owned a hotel in South Yarra my entire life. We have like synergies, but I'm just like,
there you go.
Fangirling. I think I'd pee my pants. I think I would be like, oh my God, it's Jo Morgan.
She is quite something. She's a weapon. She's a weapon.
I can imagine you'd have to be.
Absolutely. Yes. My mind's blown with how much she's across and the detail that she knows. And it's incredibly inspiring. And she's given me so much like time and advice and been really generous with that and believed in the brand. And yeah, it's been huge. It's been a platform for us to secure massive international retailers in the UK, like Liberties and Harrods and Space and K, which we're now in all of their stores across the UK, and
That's unreal.
really top performing products in their stores, and just recently have launched into Credo in the US and Goop and Net-a-Porter, and so it's also the platform that Mecca gives you. But yeah, the discussions are long. They've really put in a lot of thought, obviously, into that decision, but then how they're going to launch you, and the timing, and how they're going to do that to make it a success.
Yes.
And like what's unique about your brand and how to take it to market. They're really considered and
it's very holistic,
that.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's not just like, oh yeah, we'll stock you. It's like, no, how do we get this entire business behind you?
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
How is, maybe not your relationship with Joe, because I imagine that would be quite private, but a founder's relationship with Joe, how does that sit? Obviously you can't speak for everybody else, but is it close? Like are you guys on like speed dial?
Yeah, I can call her. I could text her. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think she's still very accessible, but I also, as a founder, and I understand how busy, but if she's like in New Zealand, she's so open and like contact, let's get a coffee
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that on the vision board, that just must feel like the best feeling ever.
It is. It's like, I think that's there are so many lows in being an entrepreneur and so many challenges, and it's like so hard. But then you get these incredible highs, which for me is getting to meet these phenomenal people, right? That otherwise you wouldn't get access to meeting if you weren't doing what you're doing. And that's why, like, being in the arena, although it's hard, all of that, like, gosh, the rewards.
The flip side of that, I think, is that you have been working so hard to solve a problem. So you do, in fact, solve a problem for these stockists, because they have, like, I've done my research many times in Mecca, like sitting there being like, what are people coming in for? Because one day when Mecca's ready to look at much more of a wellness.
Well, they are.
I know. Constantly having people come in from the tourist, like, flagship stores saying what's from Australia and New Zealand, because we're going home and I want to bring localized products home. So you're local. Of course, there would be a huge Gen Z being like, what's sustainable? What's the most sustainable thing that you've got? Like, you're working to solve so many problems. So it would be very mutual, I suspect, across the board, right?
Yes, I think so. They know the value and power of Emma Lewisham, and they see that in our numbers, and performance and our growth and what we offer them and what people want, which are highly effective products but are natural.
Yeah.
And what people want to apply to their body, which we feel is the ultimate luxury, but also sustainability that is more and more being demanded by the consumer. And we offer that solution to these retailers. So I think it is important, as you say, that brands like also have a lot of power in these discussions. So retailers do need fantastic brands and one that are offering a solution to their customers' problems and offering what their customers want. So,
and you're operating with so much integrity. It's not like you're going to get cancelled anytime soon for like greenwashing and shit.
No. Well, I think that like the key thing in like all of that, right, is to be like honest.
Yeah.
In no way, as I said earlier, in way of producing anything, we're not sustainable. There's definitely a tension that exists, but it's how you operate with that integrity and inherently along that way that you do make the very best decisions within that framework in the world of making something and bringing it to the world.
I did a panel recently for a Brisbane, like, James Street up late at that kind of thing, and I was with Mary Lou Ryan, who was one of the founders at Basic, and now she's at Aerobe.
Yes.
And somebody in the audience asked, like, how do you ever track that? And with fashion, it's so hard to understand the origin and the true origin of where something is sourced. And I feel for these founders because, like, and suppliers and stockists and everything, everybody wants to do the right thing, but it is so expensive to do so. And with a lot of manufacturing happening offshore and in China, it's just so hard. Like, people would be saying left, right and center, oh yeah, we're like sustainable, blah, blah, blah. And like just sort of being glazing over it because their factory has said one thing or another with some sort of certification or one another.
Yeah.
There's a lot of smoke and mirrors happening.
Yes,
but it's unreal
complex.
that, it's
complex. And I also think that most are really well-intentioned.
Yeah.
Like brand founders and owners and want to do the right thing. It's not always really easy to get that information and that visibility. So it's nebulous. It's not black and white. It's a real complex challenge.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mecca 2 to 3 years in, before you hit that milestone, what do you think was your biggest like ROI, return on investment of the things that you were doing to get traction?
Yes.
Like obviously your foundation's unbelievable and people were turning heads being like, whoa, what is this? This is unreal. Like nobody's ever done this before. But from like the more marketing, getting people's attention, PR, gifting, all that sort of stuff that comes with brand.
I know.
What do you think like really moved the needle for you?
I never think it's just one thing or one.
Yeah, true. I want an answer that's like, well, we did a pop-up.
I think it's like, well, it was this one thing that, and like the thing is, everyone knows, like, there's no like secret to
flywheel
piece of activity, right? Good to great. Joe loves that book. Joe Hawken from Mecca. There isn't ever like just one thing. It's synergy, right? It's a number of things that are together, combined consistently that then, as you say, build that momentum. And it's like putting a robust strategy in place and then this really strong execution of it. And I think coming from a global company, a way of operating, and so had my husband and Kim, we knew the level of execution that you needed to have, and that we are all quite high performers and like chase excellence in the way that we do things. I think a big piece for us was the like obsession and the execution and the hard work.
Yeah.
That we were like, we're going to work harder than anyone in this room. And we did. We had to work so hard to get that breakthrough and that momentum. I think that's the hardest part. It's getting that initial breakthrough. Yeah. And like, gosh, that's hard. And I think there's a bit of luck there too, to be honest.
And you said
I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I'm like, when did that exactly happen?
Yeah.
Where we got that moment where it was like, wow, it's away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And well, it's just life, right? Like it would have just happened in an amount of time and then you're like, oh, wow. But when you think about bootstrapping, what did you invest in? Because being a high performer, you then know the value of a great PR agency, those sorts of things. What did you line up to be your team, I guess?
We are fortunate there was 3 co-founders. So I think that has been so advantageous. 3 people, right?
Yeah, 3 engines.
Just one, like 3 engines from the start. My husband was a lawyer, he had a finance background, just a really great thinker. Kim, like marketing communication, exceptional writer, like honors in English, like just the most organized person you ever met, and she's equivalent to 3 people. Like her work capacity and output is phenomenal.
That's amazing.
Her attention to detail, you can ask her anything now that happened 8 years ago and she'll find it within a minute.
Wow.
So I had 2 really high performing people working alongside me. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Like, absolutely not. So having the 3 of us, and the first year we had no staff at all.
Wow.
And we managed to get the breakthrough and the momentum and secure retailers with the 3 of us. And it was in a way good. You learn how to do everything and understand it, and then how to then build what you then require and what you need to build upon that, or the people that you need to attract and support that with. So the investment actually at the start, because we weren't paying ourselves. Yeah. My husband was still working as a lawyer. Right. And working in the evenings and weekends. And
it was real bootstrap.
It was really what? It was like 24/7. So a lot of sacrifice. And I think that's not what's spoken about so much, but the biggest challenge is the mental piece. The mental piece is just challenge. It's because it's sleepless nights. It's constant sacrifice that accumulates. It's just intensity that's prolonged. Like not having any money is having to be scrappy.
Yeah.
And that's okay for maybe a week.
Yeah.
You're doing that years on end. And like we had the fact of also a newborn baby on top of that. So yeah, it was brutal.
Maybe your ROI is the mindset of just the grit that it takes and accepting that and being ready to roll up your sleeves with 2 other people to be like, let's fucking go.
I think that's what we have.
Yeah.
And what I have is like grit to get back up again and keep pushing and keep going and not giving up. Like I think if that's one thing to invest in, it's like figuring out how you can get that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think enough people have it.
I think people want instant success and see that, but don't realize that it's been the result of a lot of sacrifice and hard work and like for a very long amount of time.
Yeah.
And sacrificing enjoyment, that was it. Like I look back at some of those early years and I'm like, there wasn't a lot of joy in my life.
Yeah, wow.
That's really hard. But that's the reality. That's really the reality if you're going to do it this way. Like as I said, we didn't have the money and the investment, and we were all new. We'd never worked in the beauty industry before. So we're figuring a lot of things out.
It's almost romanticized a little bit, like late nights, you'll be on your laptop, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's kind of like fun for a bit because it's like, ooh, like that'll be a challenge. But it's like, no, do that for years and then come talk to us.
Yeah.
Like that's so intense and it changes your life. It changes your friendships. It changes everything.
It really does.
But it defines you too.
It does. It does. And you just have to be careful that you don't take it too far, because it's like that mental health piece and it's really challenging working under like very prolonged periods.
I had to come off air recently and be like, I haven't seen my girlfriends in a long time. And I was like, hang on, 3 of them have had babies and I haven't done anything about it. I haven't sent a gift. I didn't do flowers. And I was like, okay, because you always are kind of like, oh, they're really busy. I'll touch base. Or I'm really busy. I'll touch, like that will make that work. But I'm learning the resilience in like keeping those balls in the air just as much as I'm keeping my cash flow. Blah, blah, blah. All that. Like I've gotten so close to the line now. If I didn't reach out to my girlfriends in the next like 2 months, that would dramatically impact our friendship because they've had a life-changing moment and I'm not there.
Yes. Really hard to also accept.
Yeah.
That you miss out on some really important moments in people's lives. Like I missed out on so many moments with my daughter, you know. She's now 6 and that's a piece that I have to come to terms with. There was a lot of times that I wasn't there and I blinked and she's now 6 and I'm like, where did that time go? And even when I was there, I wasn't a lot of the time mentally there. And that's a bit of grief for me. And a bit of and this is the sacrifice I talk about.
Yeah, wow.
And so it can, and it's at odds. Like at the same time, we're having remarkable success. But then I, again, come back to what does success look like for you,
I don't expect you can take your foot off the gas, but I think you could say job well done in terms of launching. Do you have a new vision of what success looks like in your family life and what your new standard of presence is?
Yes. And
have you been able to define it?
Absolutely. And the last year has just been like so wonderful to have more time with my daughter and really build this like strong bond with her and connection and make that my priority. It's been so rewarding and I've absolutely loved it. And look, I can never get back the time. Like it is what it is, and all I can do now is go, well, this is how I want to do things, like moving forward and as a family. And it's my daughter's known nothing different. I literally joke that her toys were like Emma Lewisham boxes. And so she can't even separate the two.
Yeah.
And it's made her such a really independent and confident girl, and I'm so proud of her. And she's now got such cachet in the in the playground at school with her mum and girls coming up and wanting Emma Lewisham, and I think she's really, really proud. And it's always different in relationships and motherhood and how you do it. It's just, again, it's nuanced, and
but it's also the first time you've ever been a mum, right?
Yeah. It's my first time, and
being a mum, being a founder, all the things,
all thrown at me at once. So
it's a lot.
The only way out was through it, and to just keep going. And look, I've had the highest of highs and lowest of lows, and I've felt all the emotions. And isn't that what life's about? It's like, have a daring adventure, see what you're made of. And I genuinely know that. I know what I'm made of, and really am proud of what I've come through.
Of course. Recently, my parents sold their hotel in South Yarra, and it was like a tragedy. Like the whole world stopped because I grew up there. It was like my whole world was in this building. And Mum and I have had really intense, amazing dinner table conversations of late about what my childhood was like, what she meant for it to look like, because there was a lot of time in like after school care was in a hotel room. It was like, what room's free? Put her in there. Watch TV, do whatever you want. And she comes from a place of regret in several elements of that, but I come from a place of just like, I know exactly who I am with the fabric of life and the walls that I was put in. I understand everything about hotels and customer service. And I just look back at how she operated. That was the first time she's ever done it. Like, she didn't know. Like, she's not, like, I don't have any response to and all right to comment on your child and their experience of their own childhood. But when she comes to an age of articulating what her childhood was, I have no doubt that it will be filled with pride, because so much of what we experience as kids and even your grit and your resilience was from watching your parents have that.
Yes, you're so right.
It'll make her the person that she's meant to become, you know?
You're so right. I think we all do the best in the situation that we're in and with the tools that we have at the time. And she had so much sort of love and support, and her relationship with my husband and her dad is just like so strong. Yeah. She always sticks up for him over me.
Well, that'll change.
Cute.
You're in your era now.
Yes, it's my era now with her. So no, it's exactly just to remember that and ensure that I'm sure that her lens of it.
Her mum's Emma Lewisham. She'll get the memo and be like, cool.
Thank you.
The expectations also that you have on yourself of like motherhood. I have expectations now.
And friendships.
Yeah, all those things.
And being phenomenal in business, and then exercise and eat all of it,
all of it. You're like, well, okay, this is not what I expected at all.
Yeah. It's
just
crazy.
Like
that rushing woman syndrome, and which Dr. Libby talks about, who I absolutely love and have so much respect for.
Is that a book?
And a doctor, but she writes a book called Rushing Woman Syndrome, just a way now that we're like living and trying to do just absolutely everything and carrying so many hats and rushing around, and how bad it is for us and not sustainable. And so I think you're right that now what you're going through is, what are my priorities, and being really like clear on that. And because we can have it all, but just not at once. I do believe that. And you may be focusing for a period on Remy and building it, and in which even saying to your friends, I've got a lot that I need to immerse myself in for the next few months. Obviously still being there for like key moments and showing that, but also giving that context. And I think your true friends, and like I've found, they actually understand that, they get that.
Totally.
And
I think I'm a bit of like a serial starter though. They'll be like, what are you doing now?
Okay.
Okay. First it was the podcast. Now you're doing gummies. What are you doing with gummies, Arielle? I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
I know. Like, gummies are legitimate. It's just so.
Yeah, they think I'm like in a little factory making like Allen's lollies or something. I'm like, no, it's really good.
This is real.
I mean, they'll probably help my friends that have just had children. So I need to get them bottles.
You need to like give them to them and see firsthand.
Immediately.
They can see firsthand.
I know. We'll get back on track. When Fashion Week came about, this is important because the visuals. This is a product that I was really excited about because I knew that you were going to come on the podcast and we were supposed to record during Fashion Week, but that was just already way too hard basket because of the workload that you had on. I love it because this is a product that it was on their skin in the moment. It's hard to I think, imagine skincare. Sometimes like working in the fashion industry and shooting, it's like skincare, cool. But like you hired a model that was already had amazing skin. So it was really fun to finally see something that was so tangible of like they're just wearing that skin tint or this is all they have on because then you can finally put yourself, you can drop all of those, well, genetically, I don't look like that. I have light rosacea, blah, blah, blah. And you can actually like see yourself in the product.
Yeah.
So I was very excited to see
Thank you.
that. But firstly, are you joking that their skin looked like that? Holy shit.
Oh my gosh. I was even sitting there in the front row because you have a vision for a product, right? For so long. And this vision was like, I wanted it all. Our customers wanted it all because they don't have a lot of like time. Their mums, they just wanted their tinted like glow, a serum with like lots of skin benefit and the SPF 50 hydration, all of it in one. And I was like, we can create this. It could be a really beautiful, like just really nutrient dense product that gives you that finish and gives you your SPF 50 and a mineral. I'm like, no easy feat. And we actually originally, there was multiple iterations, one that we completely scrapped, we had to start again. It's been years in the making. How do we genuinely get the performance, but make sure it's luxurious, it's not white and heavy and dense and thick, and all of that with mineral sunscreen. So the process was long. And so sitting in the front row, like getting to see firsthand, like the models just walking down with that on the skin, I was like, this is it. Like I was so proud.
They looked unreal.
Because that was the first like launch of it. Like I'd been trialing it, of course, but I hadn't seen it out in the world and on people.
Yeah.
And just exactly how I visualized it with that's all they wear. They can go out looking like that. And their skin looked amazing. And that is all they had. Isabella Schmidt, who's an amazing makeup artist, buffed it in and used it as eyeshadow and a bit of contouring. And it's just
I was
remarkable.
in awe. I saw those photos and I was like, surely not. And then obviously, I believe you.
Thank you. And it's doing like, it's gone gangbusters. It's doing so well. I think it's like answering what our customers wanted.
Yeah.
And not just doing an iteration of something that exists. It's like something genuinely revolutionary and different in the industry and cracking the really hard products, which is all of that in one product.
So it is called the Mineral Glow Serum. And where in the steps of the routine, if you've got a woman that is cleansing, toning, if you will, seruming, moisturizing, that's not how you say it, but you know, tinted moisturizing and maybe foundation, either or, and then doing all the steps. Where are you, because it says serum in it, but then also it's a tinted, but then also it's all these things.
Well, so where are you? Steps.
So what are you cutting out? Clean your face, cleanser.
And then put it on.
And that's it.
That's it.
What? Okay, that's unreal.
That's like it. So in the weekends, it's all I wear. And it's so easy. You just wake up and you're like, great, I'm just going to put my serum, SPF 50, my
one-stop shop.
Like, yeah.
Wow.
Otherwise, it sits beautifully under makeup and gives like a glow, like a lit from within look, which is beautiful. Just like your skin looks healthy and just also you knowing that the ingredients are high quality and like good and there's like real actives in there. It's working hard for you. So we're really proud of that product. And
Wow.
It was such a moment for me. I think people that were sitting next to me, I was like, yeah, that's just us on the skin. And I was really excited. I was a bit of a nerd about it because I was just so
Of course
proud.
you would be. Did you go backstage to have a look?
I didn't actually. I think I
so
didn't.
it
I was doing an interview beforehand, so I didn't get the chance. So I just saw it when they came out, and
Wow.
for the first time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really thrilled. Really, really thrilled.
When you are a founder and you obviously have your suite of products, if you then have a whole suite that does all the steps and then you invent a product that takes out all of those steps, are you like, fuck, what have I done? Or are you like, no, this will suit. The right person will find it.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure there is an aspect of that, and you have to go, well, that cannibalize. But I don't have that spirit. I'm sort of to trust that if you develop genuinely great, unique products, that it'll find your customer and ultimately
There's
grow
also
the
AM PM, right? In that concept that one would have this one in the AM to start their day because it's got the SPF, and then all of your other product line.
Yes, exactly.
So they have the whole thing. It's fine.
Our Botox in a bottle, the elixir, that's your evening serum.
Yeah,
and all the.
So there's room for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
When you launch a product like that, how do you guys go with that? Anna, your beautiful PR girl.
Yes.
What's the strategy there when you are launching in Fashion Week? Great opportunity, obviously, to be like, cool. Oh, it's at the timing of Fashion Week. So then you did that.
Yeah, it was great timing. We then, Mecca was really behind that too, and shared the assets that we created and talked about it. And at the same time had their makeup artists in stores using it as makeup instead of foundation.
Okay.
So everything was sort of integrated and pulsed and connected across all those different channels, and we were pulling different levers at different time. So
did you do anything
orchestration across
internationally? Do you have to then be
yeah,
okay, that will line up with them doing that?
Exactly.
Is that hard? That would be so tricky to get everybody to orchestrate.
I know. I think that's global businesses, isn't it, where the complexity starts to come in, because you're then launching it. And we launched it a little bit earlier and it's worked out fantastically because in the UK they're going into summer.
Yeah.
So Space and K and Liberty, and now I believe our SPF is in the top 3, and now our range of that, and it's just selling so well. The timing's perfect, and we did different things to activate the launch over there, and we've got a team in the UK as well as America now. So everyone kind of feeds in what's happening localized and ensuring it's being rolled out in their market. But then our global marketing teams in Australia.
Are they teams that work kind of for Emma Lewisham only,
Yes.
or are they more agencies?
We do have some agencies, but then specific Emma Lewisham people in market.
That's so cool. What do you think that has been the biggest leadership stretch for you? That was oof, wow, that was a lot.
I think getting comfortable that you may not always be liked for the decisions you've made, and having to trust that they were the right decisions for ultimately everyone, the business, the vision, you.
Oh, wow.
And being okay with that, and accepting that people are not always going to feel comfortable about the calls you've made, but that's also their journey and thing to work through. So I think that people piece, and just learning that you just have to go back and know that if you've done it with integrity and kindness and transparency, and I'm learning being clear is kind as well.
Yes, I love that.
I think that's so true. So I think that people piece and being okay that I'm not always going to be liked.
Yeah, wow. It's really hard as a founder because you just want everyone to love what you're doing at all times. So it's a very contradictory.
But I almost now start, I believe if you're liked, are you being genuine?
Yeah, okay.
Are you being yourself? If you're
liked, you can't please everybody, right?
Wow.
I
think we just have to be comfortable with that, right?
Yeah. Definitely. I have a question about operating in the image-led industry, obviously the beauty standards and just those assets and photography and all the things and blemish-free and all the things that come out in the world to make a woman feel like she needs to look. How do you balance like building a brand that looks beautiful, but then also you've got people that are using the product? This is probably less like a tangible, but more like your thought process of how that woman would feel looking at something.
Yes.
How do you you want it, warts and all is the worst line ever, but how do you visually make sure that you make a woman feel represented in a brand, but then the front facing of the brand is stunning and beautiful? And, like even in my like much bigger work that I've done, we work with like Curve and we make sure that people feel seen and heard and all of that. But is that tricky to be like in casting and stuff? Does that come up?
I think that there's a way to include and have diversity in your models and your talent, and of course it can still be luxury and beautiful. And I am really mindful of that dynamic and the pressure that's already on women.
Yeah.
Even our language, we don't talk about anti-aging or getting younger. Like for me, it's the philosophy of being in the very best version of your skin and prolonging it and feeling comfortable in it. And I think, I'm now 40 and I really am more than ever just like comfortable in my skin and who I am and not chasing perfection.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's, everywhere you look, there's get longer eyelashes and perfect eyebrows.
Fix this.
And
you're not enough.
This and fix this. It's
exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Right? But why are we not focused on instead, let's build who you are as a person and build depth there and be proud of that and spend and put the energy there. Like for me, that's where I'm at with where I put I'm pretty low maintenance. I don't do the eyelash or the eyebrows or
just our weekly blow away.
Hair dyeing. I know. The hair dyeing and that's just a personal preference. And some people do it because it makes them feel good, and that's fantastic, right? And that's fantastic too. It's just it upsets me just the pressure that women are under to chase perfection in the way they look. And
absolutely.
I think there's so much more to it than that, and that the most beautiful women that I've met are the ones that are and it's a cliche, but it's true. It's the ones that have depth and are genuine and kind and intelligent and interesting. And it's very much what I'm trying to teach my daughter. Because even at 6, she says to me, they'd learn it at school, am I pretty, And I say, pretty and beautiful is if you've got a kind heart and if you're interesting.
I guess it's also reflected in the women that you cast, Lara Worthington, and people with nuance, and everything kind of comes through.
An older woman that we use in our photography as well. And we want to do more of that and get better at that and be considered in what we're casting and showing. And we've even used, we use real people in our campaigns and photography and real skin, and don't airbrush the skin. And so, and I think even with our moment with Bear Park at Fashion Week, it was about being confident in your own skin and this philosophy of let's just make it the very best version and look healthy and real, and the models looked happy and vibrant and showing that there's a different way. I always anti the perfection airbrushing is what I'm about.
Absolutely.
And it's so much more beautiful with character. And
I think the media and expectations are moving and swinging in that direction too.
So.
Because that's what makes us stop and be like, oh, that's real. How good, rather than just being okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I think it's
nice.
Really
for
beautiful.
Sure.
That's why I thought it was so beautiful. It was real, and I think some flaws are interesting, and I hope we don't, as you say, hope there's a bit of a movement back.
There definitely is. I think TikTok and stuff and Come As You Are is amazing. Even I was talking to Martina, a girl that has beautiful curly hair, and we were talking about how a lot of white women have started to wear the bonnets to sleep, the sleeping bonnets, and put themselves on TikTok with a bonnet on. I would never. But imagine Just like that kind of
Wow.
transparency to just be like, yeah, I'm in a bonnet and I'm white, like, because it's so traditionally only used by Black women
Yes,
to do that and like respect
yeah.
your curls. But we're now learning so much from the Black community about how to manage curls. And so the whole, like, it's so funny, like just coming as
Wow.
you are and how authentic that can be.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, it's nice to see. It's really nice to see skin as skin for
Mm.
sure. I didn't get Botox this year, and I'm sort of, sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, feel so haggard. But also I've like let my skincare regime go just a little bit. I've just like been falling off the bandwagon with it, and I can tell. But it's nice to know that products like Emma Lewisham will just kind of be there when I'm ready to step back into actually doing that again.
Yes, yes.
You know, it's like I'm so busy.
It looks good, but you don't need many. Like I think our products are so dense and you get so many benefits, and it's consistency and SPF, and it's everything we do. Put in our body, and
it's
how
everything.
we view ourselves. It's everything.
And that's just one of those other conversations of like, there's so much to do. Like, shut up, I know. You know, like everything that we have to keep up with as busy women.
I know.
It's about what's inside and the gut health and
I know, but I think if you just strip it back, eat diverse, you know, like just not overcomplicate things. But I know, like TikTok and all of it's great, so much access to information and podcasts.
Yeah,
but also a lot of it. But you just have to choose what.
Yeah, curate it. Yeah, make it chosen.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's things day to day that make your nervous system flip about Emma Lewisham? Like, is there anything in your day to day that you're just like, oh God, I've got to do that?
You've sort of built a muscle over time of getting used to stressful situations when you've been in them and in a pressure cooker for so long. And I really have now this philosophy in life, like that quote by Rumi, which is like, live life like it's rigged in your favor. And it's essentially saying, like, even the really hard things that come are not happening against you, but for you. And there's a reason for it. And I look back at all of the really challenging situations where I'm going, why is this happening to me? And like, this is just so awful. This is so stressful. And I come out the other side and I'm like, I'm so glad that happened to me. Because I grew from that and I learned something from that. And that's made me who I am and built resilience, but just grown me as a person. And I think we should try and look through things with that lens, because genuinely, I don't think things are coming for you to harm you. Yeah, there's always a silver lining. There genuinely is. And so even in business now, when situations turn up, I'm like, okay, there's a lesson coming for me here that I haven't learned yet. So I have to learn. And
the very privileged position that I'm in, I get to sit down with women that are killing it often. And that is probably the through line that I hear the most, is that this is not happening to me, it's happening for me.
Yeah.
And that mindset of just, okay, what am I learning here?
I think
it's remarkable how much that comes up. And like you can see it, that's a real thing that these women have in common, that's a thing that they're going through.
Yeah.
So the international growth then, I had a stat. What did I find from Forbes? You were recently noting 190% growth in the UK.
Yes.
International growth for you guys. Amazing. Stockists and all of that. Where do you think Emma Lewisham's going as a brand?
I think that we will be a brand that's here in 100 years' time.
Really? Oh my God.
Absolutely. It's not a trending brand. It's a brand that I feel is anchored and will transcend. We've never been about trends, and we don't chase
That's
trends.
amazing to be like, we'll be here in 100 years' time.
I really believe that.
Wow.
That's the vision.
Wow. Cool.
So I think when you have that, you're building things for the long term. And you don't take shortcuts with the real roots and intention and quality. And it's not like just want it to end and be over. And this brand and what we've created, and it deserves to be. It really does. And so we're just getting started. We're just getting started.
You can tell.
It's been a warm up. I'm really excited for what's to come.
Can you give us a sneak peek of what's to come?
It's just in every front, just going to another level, like across the company and what we've done with products.
You're going to remain in skincare?
There's opportunity, and that we will go outside skincare. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
I can't wait for that day. How good. My face hurts from smiling at you so much. Like, this rarely happens. We've been yapping for like an hour and a half, so thank you for bearing with me for a very long podcast. But
no, it's been so much fun.
Everything
we could keep chatting.
Everything that you've said, I'm like, oh my God, what? Like, I've been smiling for 90 minutes straight. My face fully hurts.
Well, I'll take that as like,
it's the best.
Well done.
The woman you are is so cool.
Oh, thank you.
And just hardworking and local, which is something we don't really get access to that often. You know, to like just hear from you, to be like, how did you do that? Like, I feel like what you've built is so brilliant. The fact that you have made yourself accessible to a localized podcast, and you're operating in Australian Fashion Week, and you're being Australian and Kiwi and doing all the things that you're doing, but having such incredible international success. It's so inspiring because you know how so many people leave and go and like chase international, and then they set up lives over there and stuff. Personally, I'm really inspired by you because you're so grounded here as well.
Yes, absolutely.
It's so nice.
An important market for us.
Yeah.
We feel like we owe it. It's important. The customer's here, not just skip over it. We're far from done. We really want to build strong roots in Australia. It's really important to us. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Are you proud of yourself? Are you at that phase where you're like, yes, we're on to a winner here. Like, this has been good.
Yeah. Look, I'm really proud of the success we've had, but I'm proud of how we've gone about it.
But how you've gone about it.
Yeah. I'm proud of how I've gone about it.
Good. Because you should be. It's unbelievable. Because you are Emma.
Yes. I know. Yes, I am. I see it such as a team. It's such a team. I'm lucky to have my name on the bottle, but personally, I'm so proud in where we are and where we're heading, and coming back to that point about success. That is what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, guys, go to Mecca. All the listeners, go to Mecca and shop Emma Lewisham. Can they buy it online at Mecca? And you can't buy it in Australia at emmalewisham.com. It's all exclusive to Mecca, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're going to Mecca. Not that that's a hard thing to do. Everybody just go and shop it. Thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Honestly, it's been so much fun.
Thanks.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
That brings me to the end of my episode with Emma. I've shared all the links that you need in the show notes. We're also about to kick off episodes on YouTube bit by bit, slowly. You'll find this episode over there too. A huge thank you to Anna from Emma's PR team for helping us organise this, and my own new hires, Emma and Monica, for kicking off this episode with me. I think it's quite a milestone when you have new staff on board of their first process episode, like what they've cut their teeth on, and this is an absolute banger for them to cut their teeth on. And a huge thank you to Emma herself, because I've learned a lot, and I know that you guys will too. She really generously gave me 2.5 hours of her time, and I am a changed woman because of it. If you loved this episode, tell us, DM me, share it with a friend, or leave a review. That is the podcast algorithm, by the way, of engaging with us, letting the data know that it's a goodie if you leave a review. So tell us what you think and keep the podcast love alive. We've hit 103 episodes this week, and we need all the love that we can get. I will see you guys in 2 weeks.